Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. The Age of Cards. The 100 Ghosts Night Walk is drawn at the start. Chapter 51. This will be our new home from now on. Looking around the living room, Yeezy showed a satisfied expression. Tamamo before has disappeared, and ran to the second floor to pick a room. Elena stood quietly beside Yeezy. After returning from a trip yesterday, her clothes have been changed to short-sleeved and dark green slacks, and a pair of black tucked high boots, showing her graceful and slender figure. There is also a series of tiny red circle bracelets on the left wrist, shining brightly in the sun. Her hair was loose and coiled, and two snow-white hoop earrings hung from her white earlobes. Irina doesn't know how to pick clothes and has no interest. This is Tamamo before helping to dress up. I have to admit that this dress highlights the special temperament of Irina's combination of coldness and heroism. Looking at the absent-minded appearance of the real estate agency staff just now, they could see how beautiful Irina was at this time. Noticing Yeezy's gaze, Irina moved her body unnaturally, as if she wasn't used to her current outfit. Don't worry, you look very beautiful now. Yeezy soothed her. Quote. Irina's expression became even more unnatural. Fortunately, Tamamo finally ran downstairs at this time. I've chosen, Master, I want the room next to the master bedroom. Whatever. Yeezy shrugged and glanced at his watch. We're busy moving today, and tomorrow we'll go to the Cards Association to register as adventurers. Tamamo May and Irina naturally would not have any objections, and immediately nodded in agreement. The second day after moving in, Yeezy took the two to the Cards Association. The building of the Kadu Association is located in the most prosperous area of Tianjin City, where people come and go every day. The Office of Registered Adventurers is located on the second floor. After arriving at the building, the three of Yeezy went straight through the lively hall and stepped up the stairs to the second floor. Compared with the noisy lobby on the first floor, the second floor is undoubtedly much quieter. There are only 40 or 50 people who are chatting and waiting for the task. In the corner, 7 or 8 looks a little immature, young men and women who seem to be no more than 20 years old are lining up, and they all look excited and expectant. These people are young carders who are ready to register as adventurers. Yeezy glanced at it, then came to the end of the line to line up. The second floor became a lot quieter for some time. Many adventurers stopped chatting and turned to look at Yuzhao before an arena, their eyes widened with amazement. Such a beautiful woman. And still too. When they looked at Yeezy again, the adventurers' eyes were filled with envy and jealousy. Damn it, what is the origin of this kid? A young rookie who is not even an adventurer, and is actually accompanied by 2 unbelievably beautiful beauties. What a waste. Isn't Lousy better than him? Why didn't such a good thing happen? Most of the men present secretly slandered. Yeezy was of course aware of the sight around him, but he didn't care. Irina naturally ignored it, she only cared about Yeezy. Even Tamamo May seemed to be quiet and ignorant. It's true that fox girls like to be provocative, but they also score objects. She has no interest in men other than her own master. The Cards Association's work efficiency is very fast. Soon it was Yeezy's turn. The girl behind the counter looked up and saw Yeezy, she couldn't help but startled. His eyes swept across the 2 girls behind him again, and his heart suddenly burst into shock. What kind of handsome boy and girl group is this? Where did the star come from? It took a few seconds for the girl at the counter to wake up and smiled at Yeezy a little embarrassed. Is there anything I can help you with? I'm here to register adventurers. Okay, please give me your personal ID. Yeezy handed over the documents according to his words. The girl at the counter took it and entered the system to start searching. After seeing Yeezy's age and the 1-star card student logo, he couldn't help but look up at him in surprise. So young, still a student. Is it already a 1-star card apprentice? The group of people who came to register just now are still apprentice card students. Surprised to be surprised, the girl at the counter quickly completed the procedures. The registration has been completed, sir, congratulations, you are now an F-rank adventurer. Adventurers also have levels. From low to high, there are 7 levels of F, E, D, C, B, A, and S. The level will increase as the number of completed tasks increases. The higher the difficulty of the task, the faster the improvement speed. I heard that there is a higher level than the S level, but at least there are no adventurers of this level in Tianjin City. This is your adventurer certificate, please keep it. Thanks. Yi Zi took the certificate and smiled at the girl at the counter. The girl at the counter was dazzled by this smile, and her cheeks couldn't help but turn slightly red. At this moment, there was a sudden sound of hurried footsteps. Everyone followed the sound and saw a figure appearing at the entrance of the stairs leading to the third floor, looking around. It was He Xiaofei. The staff and adventurers present were stunned. The president of the Cards Association. What is he doing on the second floor? Immediately after, they saw He Xiaofei's eyes lit up, and he strode towards the corner with a big smile on his face, and came to the young man with two beauties. Chapter 52. As the president of the Cards Association, He Xiaofei's office is naturally located on the top floor of the building. On weekdays, he only worked on the top floor, and even if he went out, he would leave through special elevators and passages. So, most adventurers don't see He Xiaofei once or twice a year. However, now I see him hurriedly appearing on the second floor. And it looked like it was for that young boy. The smile on his face was unbelievable. Yi Zi, why didn't you tell me when you came? He Xiaofei came over and smiled. The tone is like the elders facing the caring younger ones, they are very kind and friendly. I'm just here to register adventurers, so there's no need to disturb President He for this trivial matter. How can your affairs be considered disturbing? Well, since you're here, accompany Uncle He to the office to sit. He Xiaofei changed his self-proclaimed calmly, and suddenly shortened the distance between the two. Yi Zi wanted to decline, but thinking that He Xiaofei in front of him was He Qingqing's father, he hesitated, but agreed. The girl at the counter next to him looked at the smiling He Xiaofei with a dazed expression. Is this still the majestic president? I won't be dazzled. What the hell is going on with this young man? Even the president was so kind and friendly to him. Under the astonished gazes of everyone, He Xiaofei led Yi Zi and the three of them upstairs. It wasn't until after they left that there was a sudden uproar in the quiet hall. Who is that kid? Even President He went downstairs to greet him. It won't be a son of a big family, right? FK. President Yi's status in Tianjin City is no worse than those in power in big families, and there is no need to be so attentive to their children. Then tell me what happened. When the second floor was noisy. Yi Zi and He Xiaofei were already sitting in the top office. Tamamo Mei and Irina stayed outside in the waiting hall. Are you ready to take on the mission? He Xiaofei motioned his assistant to make tea, then looked at Yi Zi and asked with a smile. Since watching Yi Zi winning the championship, he has given orders within the Cards Association to pay attention to all Yi Zi's movements in the association. Therefore, as soon as Yi Zi registered as an adventurer, He Xiaofei immediately received the news and ran away in a hurry. Well, I'm going to earn some living expenses and practice it by the way. Yi Zi replied. The two chatted casually for a few words, and He Xiaofei quickly turned the topic to what he really wanted to ask. Yi Zi, are you really not considering joining the Card Association? Feel free to mention any conditions. I can make the decision and try my best to satisfy you. Yi Zi simply shook his head. Uncle He, I have no idea of joining a certain power organization for the time being, at least before graduation. Seeing Yi Zi's firm and serious expression, He Xiaofei couldn't help but smile bitterly. He really hoped that Yi Zi could join the Cards Association. A young talent with such great potential. Once it joins, the positive impact it will bring to the Cards Association is not just an additional powerful future combat power. It can also attract more excellent new blood to join, and drive the rapid development of the Cards Association. Unfortunately, Yi Zi's plan is very clear. This is a very assertive young man, and it is not easy to convince him. Although the plan to win over Yi Zi through He Qingqing has already paid off, the relationship between the two parties is still friendly. But it is not feasible to change Yi Zi's mind through He Qingqing. He Xiaofei suddenly discovered these 2 days. At home, her daughter always blushed and smiled while holding the photo of Yi Zi that she found nowhere, as if she was completely in love and couldn't extricate herself from it. In this case, it would be fine if the daughter did not turn her arms out. It's impossible to count on her. Thinking of this, He Xiaofei was a little troubled. He Qingqing was asked to contact Yi Zi at the beginning, but now it seems that I don't know whether it is right or wrong. After calming down, He Xiaofei put his mind back to the matter in front of him. Since that's the case, I won't force you anymore. Also, if you're going to take on the mission, just pick it here, and I can give you some advice. This Yi Zi will naturally not refuse. It is the first time to take a mission, and there are familiar people who can help you, so you can avoid many detours. Adventurers can take up quests one level higher than their own level. In other words, the only tasks Yi Zi could take right now were F rank and E rank. F-class missions are ruled out first. This level of task pay is too low, there is no need to do it. The scope is directly limited to the E level. Actually, with Yi Zi's current strength, let alone E rank, even D rank quests are eligible to be accepted. It's just that the rules are there, and even He Xiaofei, who is the president, can't easily break them. Anyway, with Yi Zi's strength, he will soon be promoted to E rank adventurer. He Xiaofei flipped through the mission documents with ease, and quickly picked one. This is not bad. Escort the items to Camp 38 outside the city. The content is simple and it doesn't take much time, but it has a certain degree of difficulty. It is suitable for a novice like you to familiarize yourself with the adventure process. Yi Zi took over the mission information and checked it carefully. The assistant just came in with tea. Looking at this scene, he couldn't help showing a strange look on his face. A newly registered F-rank adventurer even asked the president of the association to personally select tasks for him. This will spread to the outside world, and I don't know how many people's jaws will be broken. But, the assistant glanced at Yi Zi. If it is this man, it is not too surprising. Who calls people a peerless genius that is rare in a century? Chapter 53. Camp 38 is located in the south of Tianjin City. This is a newly established temporary experimental base. The purpose is to research and develop technology to drive away living corpses. Since the war broke out between Tianjin City and Yinkaran, the Qingwei Plain, 50 kilometers south of Tianjin City, has basically become a dangerous area. Yinkaran's aliens put a large number of living corpses on the Qingwei Plain, completely turning this area into a paradise for monsters. In order to regain control of the Qingwei Plain, the military had to work with adventurers to clean up the living corpses. Regrettably, with little success. The number of living corpses is simply too many. And because of the war with the Black Scale Plain and the Yinkaran Plain at the same time, the military was short of manpower and could not send more troops to kill the living corpses. So after thinking about it again and again, I finally decided to set up an experimental base nearby to develop a more efficient means of driving and even removing living corpses. So Field Camp 38 was born. And Yi Zi's task is to escort an item to Professor Zhang Yuinen in the camp. According to the description in the documentation, isn't Professor Zhang Yuinen the main person in charge of the camp experiment? With his status, why not directly ask the military to help him deliver the items? After a while, Yi Zi raised his head and asked suspiciously. Zhang Yuinen transported personal items. He didn't want to use military resources for personal gain, so he released tasks at the association at his own expense. Yi Zi was stunned, thought for a few seconds, and nodded. Then I'll take over this task, please, Uncle He. You're welcome. He Xiaofei smiled and waved his hand to his assistant to handle it. Soon, the task procedure is completed. Ding! The achievement task is released. First adventure, successfully complete the first adventure mission, and you can get 1000 achievement points by completing the achievement. There is a mission. Yi Zi was overjoyed. 1000 achievement points is a lot. The unexpected surprise made Yi Zi feel a lot better. Holding the suitcase requested by the mission, he said goodbye to He Xiaofei and walked out of the building with Tamamo and Irina. Master, are we going out of the city now? Yu Zhao asked before. Yi Zi nodded. The time limit required by the mission is to deliver within 2 days. However, the number 38 field camp is not far away. If you start now, you can arrive in less than 2 hours. Now go to rent a car. Naturally, a 50-kilometer distance cannot be walked. There are car rental places near the city gate. Most of the adventurers who need to go to places far away from the city to perform tasks will specially rent modified off-road vehicles to save time and effort. It didn't take long. Yi Zi and the three came to the car rental square outside the city. The messy square was full of people, and there were adventurers laughing and scolding everywhere, which was extremely lively. To Yi Zi's surprise, He went to 3 shops that rented vehicles in a row, but they were all told that the vehicles had all been rented out. Is this always the case? That's not true. Today is quite special. The people of the Red Light Adventure Group are going to perform a mission. More than half of the vehicles in the square have been rented by them. You are too late. If you arrive half an hour earlier, you might find one. The shop owner spreads his hands. This is trouble. Yeezy frowns slightly. Is it possible to walk to the number 38 field camp? In trouble. Suddenly there was a surprised cry. Yeezy looked up and saw a woman with a somewhat familiar face staring at him with wide eyes, her face hard to hide surprise. There are 4 other men next to them, all with similar expressions. It's you. Ah, no, my lord. The woman said incoherently. You are. Yeezy looked at them hesitantly. I always feel that these 5 people are a little familiar, but I can't remember where I met them. The man who seemed to be the leader among the 5 said respectfully. My lord, we once met near the lizard camp in the Chunai Plain. Ah, you are from the Red Luminous Adventure Group. Yeezy finally remembered. When he was performing the 1-star advanced mission, he met 5 adventurers who claimed to be members of the Red Luminous Adventure Group, and it was the 5 men and women in front of him. The 5 Zhongpei secretly looked at Yeezy, surprised and happy. I didn't expect to meet Yeezy again here. When they met in the Chunai Plain, Yeezy left a deep impression on them. The power of breaking into the outpost camp of the black-scaled lizards single-handedly and destroying an army camp with a scale of 1,000 people is simply amazing. Afterwards, they searched for Yeezy's whereabouts and wanted to recruit him to join the Red Light Adventure Group, but they never found anyone. As a result, when he was about to give up, he met Yeezy again. How can people not be pleasantly surprised? Sir, are you planning to rent a car? Zhongpei asked tentatively. Well, I took a mission to go to the number 38 field camp, but unfortunately there are no vehicles to rent. Yeezy said helplessly. Speaking of which, the culprit that caused this dilemma was the Red Luminous Adventure Group in front of him. 38 field camp. Isn't that the same as our destination? Zhao Lin let out a low cry. Yeezy was slightly startled. The Red Obsidian Adventure Group is also going to the 38 field camp. At this time, Zhongpei suddenly spoke. Sir, if you don't mind, would you like to come with us? Chapter 54. Peer. Zhongpei's words made everyone stunned. However, the other 4 companions quickly reacted and immediately gave the captain a thumbs up in their hearts. Yup. If you walk together, don't you have a lot of opportunities to get closer on the road? Maybe after completing the task, this young mysterious powerhouse will become a companion of their adventure group. Yeezy's eyes flashed slightly. When you can't rent a car, this seems to be the only way. Unless the task is postponed until tomorrow. But who can guarantee that the vehicle will be rented tomorrow? If that were to happen, there would be a lot of variables in the task, and if you were not careful, the time limit would be exceeded. Yeezy didn't want his first adventure mission to fail. After thinking about it again and again, he finally agreed. Then I'll trouble you, I'll pay the fare. How about that? Zhongpei shook his head quickly. After several pushes, he finally decided to let Yeezy pay his share of the 3. The result made both parties happy. This way, my lord. Leading the 3 of Yeezy, Zhongpei and his party walked towards the gathering place of the adventure group. On the way, whether it was Zhao Lin or the other 4 men, they couldn't help but secretly looked at Yuzaome and Arena. Such a beautiful girl. It should be this adult's companion, right? Just don't know how strong it is. However, people gather in groups and divide into groups, and the strength of the strong companions is usually not too weak. Thought here. Zhongpei and others unanimously regarded the 2 girls as good card disciples, and they spoke respectfully along the way. It didn't take long. The group arrived at an open space full of modified off-road vehicles. Hundreds of adventurers gathered around the vehicle, chatting and laughing loudly, crowding the open space. Zhongpei, why have you been gone for so long? Hurry up, you're leaving in 5 minutes. Seeing Zhongpei and the others coming back, a simple and honest-looking big man in the outermost area complained aloud. When the words fell, he noticed the 3 Yeezy people in the team, and looked surprised. Who are these 3? This is the strong card who I told you before, the one who destroyed the entire black-scale lizard outpost alone. Zhongpei introduced Yeezy with a smile. The big man was stunned for a while when he heard the words, looked Yi up and down, scratched his head and showed a suspicious look. No, Zhongpei, this kid doesn't look like he's not even 20 years old. How could he be a 4 or 5-star card student? I still believe he is a student. How did you talk? Zhongpei was in a hurry, and hurriedly scolded the big man, and then smiled at Yi. My lord, Zhu Lei often speaks without thinking, so don't bother with him. It's okay. Yi shook his head to show that he didn't mind. It can be seen that Zhu Lei belongs to the kind of honest and straightforward character. Such people usually can't hide their words and say whatever comes to their mind. Not annoying though. On the contrary, a hypocrite full of lies is more disgusting. Are you a student of Tianxin College? Seeing that Yi said he didn't mind, Zhu Lei ignored Zhongpei's warning eyes and continued to ask. I heard that a few days ago, there was a fierce person in the Tianxin Academy's academy competition. Good guy. He won the position of the academy chief in the first year, and even the military's second lieutenant Wu Yan was defeated by him. Ah, I remember the name seems to be. Zhu Lei frowned and thought for a while, then suddenly slapped his palm. Yi. Yes, just this name, do you know him? Zhu Lei looked at Yi curiously. Gucci. But it was Tamamo before who couldn't help laughing out loud. She lowered her head to cover her mouth, her shoulders twitching. Did I tell a funny joke? Zhu Lei was puzzled. Zhongpei, Zhaolin and others also looked at each other. Okay, Zhu Lei, don't make trouble here. Anyway, I told you, the Lord is the VIP of our adventure group, you should be eye-catching, don't always make a fuss. Returning to his senses, Zhongpei waved Zhu Lei away. I'm telling the truth, Zhu Lei muttered, then turned and walked away obediently. After waiting for them to walk away, Zhongpei led Yi and the three to an off-road vehicle with thick steel plates. Sir, you and your 2 companions are in this car. Li Yu can drive, and he will be your driver. Okay, trouble. Yi thanked and said again at the end. Also, don't always call me an adult. In terms of age, I'm much younger than you, so just call me by my name. Zhongpei and the others shook their heads like a rattle. In the Kadu world, the strong are respected, and the strong should be respected. This unwritten rule is even more true in the adventurous circle of life at the knife's edge. As long as he is strong enough, no matter how old he is, he will be respected by everyone. But speaking of it, they still don't know the name of the adult in front of them. I take the liberty to ask, what is your name, my lord? Yi. Quote. Chapter 55. 5 minutes later. The convoy of the Red Obsidian Adventure Group set off. On one of the most spacious SUVs in the middle of the convoy. A tall and long-legged Oni-san was leaning on the back seat and closing his eyes. Her facial features are distinct, and her long black hair is tied in a ponytail behind her head, which looks extraordinarily neat. The soft sunlight fell on the inside of the car, making her complexion more radiant and healthy. Captain. A man in the front passenger seat turned his head, still holding the cell phone he had just hung up on. Zhongpei said he has found that young mysterious powerhouse. Oh, Xiao Aiyu suddenly opened her eyes, her upper body slightly straightened. Do you know that person's identity? No. The man who answered had a strange expression on his face. The man's name is Yi, and he is a first-year student at Tianxin College. Even though Xiao Aiyu was calm on weekdays and didn't change his mind, he couldn't help being stunned when he heard this answer. First grade, freshman. That's right. I asked the team members who stayed in Tianxin City to help check it out. There is indeed a first-year student named Yi in Tianxin College, and his appearance matches him. Xiao Aiyu was silent for a while. When Zhongpei reported to her that a young katana single-handedly destroyed a lizard camp, she immediately mobilized the men and horses in the group to investigate around, and wanted to recruit him into the adventure group. Unfortunately, after a long time, there is still no gain. That person seemed to appear out of thin air, and there was no clue at all. Result. Only now to tell her that the other party is a student. Or a freshman who has just entered school. Xiao Aiyu's expression became complicated. However, she believes in the ability of her subordinates to do things. Since she confirms the identity of the other party, there must be nothing wrong. Zhongpei said that person has at least the strength of a 4 or 5-star card disciple, is it true? Xiao Aiyu asked with a frown. She believed that the people in Zhangpei's team would not lie. But for a freshman to have the strength of a 4 or 5-star card disciple, it is really too absurd. However, the man's answer was far beyond her expectations. Zhangpei didn't lie. Yi Zi's strength is indeed stronger than ordinary 4 or 5-star card disciples. He is the head of the academy this year, and has defeated Wu Yan, Xu Jiazhou and others in a row in the academy competition. Xiao Aiyu raised her head suddenly, her eyes full of surprise. Tianxin College is her alma mater, and she pays much attention on weekdays. So she knew all the outstanding students in the 4th grade. Among them, Wu Yan and Xu Jiazhou are undoubtedly the top 3 elite students. Although it is only a 3-star card, but the real combat power is not inferior to the ordinary 4 or 5-star card. Such a person actually lost to a first-year freshman. Simply incredible. Xiao Aiyu rubbed his forehead subconsciously. The staff who have been busy with tasks for a while now have no energy to pay attention to the situation of the college competition. I didn't expect such an unprecedented thing to happen. First-year academy chief. Xiao Aiyu's eyes flickered for a while. At that time, she did not win the position of the head of the academy until the 3rd grade. Despite this, he has also been recognized as the most outstanding student in the past century both inside and outside the college. However, only a few years after graduation, someone broke his own record and was still a freshman. Things are amazing. Captain, should we continue to recruit Yi Zi? The man's words interrupted Xiao Aiyu's contemplation. The corners of her lips curled slightly, revealing a meaningful smile. Of course, it's a pity to let such an outstanding talent go like this. We must pull him into the adventure group. Yes, I'll go get in touch with him when the conference takes a break. Xiao Aiyu thought for a while, then shook his head and said, No, I'll go meet him in person after Camp 38. The man was slightly surprised. It seems that the head of the team attaches great importance to Yi Zi. But think about it, this is a genius who can defeat a 4 or 5-star card student before the age of 20. I understand. The man turned away. The car quickly returned to silence. Xiao Aiyu leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. There was only a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. The other side. In the car where Yi Zi was sitting. The atmosphere was a little awkward. Li Yu sat in the driver's seat with an embarrassed expression, occasionally glancing at Yi Zi next to him. He never thought that the mysterious powerhouse he and others had been looking for was actually a student of Tianxin Academy. At first, I thought it was a lone adventurer. The reason why Ganqing's subsequent search has been fruitless is because the search direction was ridiculously wrong from the beginning. That guy Zhu Lei usually doesn't have the slightest eyesight, but this will make him misunderstood. Li Yu secretly slandered. In order to ease the too silent atmosphere, he said with a smile. Sir, after driving another 5 kilometers, we will enter the Qingwei Plain, and there is a good chance that we will encounter a living corpse. Although Yi Zi's student status was known, Li Yu's title remained unchanged. Living corpse. What monster is that? Tamamome in the back seat uttered out of curiosity. Li Yu glanced at her through the rearview mirror with some doubts. The Yin Karen Plain has appeared for so many years, and the living corpse is the most common creature on the Yin Karen Plain, but there is no Karen who does not know the living corpse. Could it be that this girl is not a katana? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.